In 1997, New Zealand faced a defining moment. Should Kiwis be forced to save for their retirement through a compulsory superannuation scheme like Australia? The government thought the answer was yes, but the fucking people, they had a different idea. Here's a bit of backstory. The National Party, led by Prime Minister Jim Bolger, believed New Zealand's ageing population was creating a long term problem. And they proposed a system where every working Kiwi would contribute 8% of their income into a private retirement savings account. This would reduce dependence on public pensions and secure everyone's financial future, is what they said. But when the public went to vote on this on September 27, 1997, the answer was a resounding no. In fact, over 92% of voters rejected it. Why did it fail so badly? First, there was the burden on low and middle income earners. For many families, losing 8% of their paycheck would have been fucking devastating, and critics called it unfair and regressive, and added tax disguised as savings. Then came the trust issue. People didn't believe that private fund managers would handle their money responsibly, and they worried about high management fees, poor investment returns, and even losing their fucking savings. And honestly, who could fucking blame them after everything we've seen happen in Australia? Many also believed the current system didn't need replacing. They argued that New Zealand's superannuation, with better management, could remain sustainable. The opposition favoured voluntary options instead of forced contributions, which really is the fair way. And finally, there was strong resistance to the National Party's neoliberal agenda. To many, this wasn't about helping retirees, it was about shifting responsibility away from the government and towards private companies. Well, when the results came in, the verdict was fucking clear. New Zealanders wanted choice, not compulsory actions. The failure of the referendum helped pave the way for KiwiSaver. In 2007, a voluntary system with government incentives and safeguards was implemented. Now, think about how Australia has handled super. You've probably heard that your employer pays super on top of your salary. That's a nice little extra. It's a bonus for your future. But here's the reality, that's a giant fucking con. That super is coming directly out of what you'd otherwise be earning. Employers factor it into the total cost of hiring you, meaning if you weren't forced to contribute, more of that money would be in your pocket today. That's a fucking fact. Just like in New Zealand, Australia's compulsory super scheme is framed as a benefit, but who really benefits? Private fund managers collecting $30 billion a year in fees while workers see their wages stagnate and you'll never own a fucking home. Imagine what would happen if Australians had a choice, if they could control how much they save and when without the illusion that someone else is footing the bill. New Zealand rejected this kind of con. Maybe it's time Australians started asking the same questions because you're better off owning a home than having $100,000 sitting in super that you can't touch. It isn't even going to fucking pay for your retirement. And every single one of us knows someone who's been paying into super their whole lives at this point. You could be 50 years old. You've contributed to super your whole working life and you haven't even got close to enough money to fucking retire on. And that's because the only winners here are the superannuation funds and their unelected, unrepresented swill that fucking lead them.